Welcome to Here's to Your Health with Joshua Lane. Here's to Your Health discusses the current thinking in wellness, bringing you the most influential thinkers in beauty, fitness, and longevity. Your host, Joshua Lane, was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that helped bring wheatgrass sprouts and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health, Joshua Lane.
Welcome to this edition of Here's to Your Health. I'm your host, Josh Lane. And welcome to Health Unlimited. Why is aloe vera a great first aid for skin and body, especially aloe vera by ALOE LIFE? And we learn tips to manage our digestion, to help improve immunity, and to stay healthier more naturally using aloe gold juice by ALOE LIFE, which is actually great, and it's also very good for the vocal cords. And also, it's the premier aloe vera for skin renewal from head to toe. For healthier, more beautiful skin, and also the aloe gold helps support the throat for singers and also for professional speakers. I actually learned that from Karen. Our guest is Karen Masterson Koch, and Karen explains that you don't have to choose between responsible medication and nutritional dietary supplements like ALOE LIFE because aloe gold is considered a food for whole body health. And our guest, Karen Masterson Koch, has worked as a health educator, a clinical nutritionist by profession, and as Karen has worked at clinics specializing in immunology and allergy, including skin issues, and this was during the 1980s when the subject was not well known. And Karen has been counseling people about their health for over 40 years. For over 40 years, Karen Masterson Koch has been a health researcher, and Karen has authored 2 important nutrition books, and also Karen studied and was a pioneer in gluten and inflammatory disease problems, which are now widely acknowledged. And Karen shares anti-aging foods and supplements such as vitamin E and aloe vera. And aloe vera has over 3,000 worldwide studies supporting aloe's use for children and adults to look and feel our very best. Now, having worked with Karen, I've learned from ALOE LIFE that every aloe product on the market is made differently. And most products are weak, unfortunately, and watered down. And that's not the case with ALOE LIFE's 17 products. They're all concentrated, and they're not watered down, and you can feel them actually work quickly. And I use them. I'm happy to use ALOE LIFE, and I'm happy to endorse ALOE LIFE. And also, we could just go to the website, www.aloelife.com, and remember that ALOE LIFE are leaders in aloe vera. Aloe vera and health education today, they are leaders, and ALOE LIFE has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, so you can be confident when you use ALOE LIFE products. Now, ALOE LIFE is easy. I happen to use the aloe gold. I use an ounce a day. That's plenty for me. And also I use the topical skin gel formulated by ALOE LIFE. And the skin gel, which I mentioned to you before on the air, I'm very happy to have used so successfully. It really helped improve my skin that had problems with acne in my teenage years. Now, Karen Masterson Koch, the founder of ALOE LIFE, writes about 21 different skin conditions that get results when we use aloe vera. And the book is called Gift of Nature, and the whole leaf aloe vera and the clinical applications of the ALOE LIFE products. And ALOE LIFE is now celebrating their 36th year, 36 years in business since 1991. And happy birthday, ALOE LIFE. And so I'd like to welcome to the show Karen Masterson Koch. And Karen, why do you consider ALOE LIFE to be the #1 first aid product line? When did aloe first come into your life?
Well, hello, friends. And thanks, Josh. It's always great to share about the #1 natural herbal superfood, aloe vera. And it was the ancient civilizations that actually called aloe vera the first aid skin plant, also an herbal medicine chest, having many medicinal compounds. In fact, over 100 when using the mature whole leaf aloe vera barbadentis variety, as in the ALOE LIFE. And it's true that aloe did change my entire life, Josh. It was a big surprise, friends, because at first I didn't believe it could help immunity, plus digestion issues, regularity, IBS, along with skin and energy too. It did so much, yet I saw it in action by reading patients' lab work after adding the aloe vera concentrate. It revealed it helped truly with everything, including allergies, anemia, and blood sugar too. And this explained the extra energy the staff at the clinic and I first experienced drinking a shot of the whole leaf aloe vera juice concentrate, Josh. We toasted cheers after lunch, and the aloe was tasted like tomato juice to me, with high trace minerals, refreshing with a bite. And in just minutes, we all began to feel the aloe magic, the energy. And adding the whole leaf juice concentrate to patients' health protocols, along with a good diet, the Mediterranean low gluten diet, and just a few supplements, the aloe vera soon became obvious in the clinic as a shortcut, friends, back to healthier skin and body, speeding up the progress of patients. It was super exciting. And that led to the 17 ALOE LIFE products that complement each other, like the Back to Basics skincare line, with the best lotion, too, for men and women, and the Gift of Nature handbook you talked about with the 38 protocols, including important information on aloe, and research has exploded, and Andy's story, too.
Well, Karen, you mentioned to me, off mic, that Andy was a bodybuilder who had prostate cancer, and that's pretty serious. What was Andy's story?
Yes, Josh, exactly. I observed many of the HIV patients who felt better, improving anemia, as I mentioned, tired blood, adding the aloe and higher vitamin E and B complex too. Yet the bodybuilder patient Andy was the first of many to come who reversed a lung tumor the size of a small walnut from a previous prostate cancer, metastases, his doctor surmised. And by drinking the high dose of 3 to 4 ounces daily of the Aloe Gold for 2 weeks before chemo, he also continued eating his healthy foods he had learned about from me and adding vitamin A and vitamin C that were significant for boosting immunity too with the aloe. And the happy call came to my office reporting, Josh, the pre-X-ray found the tumor had vanished and chemo was put on hold. I mean, this victory story became the first of many, many happy customers with hundreds of issues, friends, resolving that have demonstrated the antimicrobial properties of aloe vera plant. Do you see, Josh, why I don't want to change the formula of Aloe Life to high heat pasteurization like other aloes on the market?
Our guest is Karen Masterson Cook, the founder of Aloe Life in 1991. Karen, I mentioned in the intro that there's a big difference in aloe products on the market. What are the differences?
Well, yes, Josh, radically different. And often people in the health food store say they tried aloe and it didn't work. Yet the discouraged ones hadn't used the number one Aloe Life, Aloe Gold concentrate yet. So don't settle for less, friends. Truly get the best Aloe Life, Aloe Gold. Just read the label stating not over-filtered or overheated or diluted. It's the best buy in aloe that you know, Josh. Each quart equals 4 bottles, and the daily dose is just 1 ounce daily to get more support than drinking cupfuls of other brands.
And our guest is Karen Masterson Cook, the founder of Aloe Life. Karen, why has troubled skin and diseases continued to rise in the United States?
Double question, Josh. And yes, by following the health experts of 2022, the obesity epidemic caused diseases to double. So even now, the first target is healthier weight. With 70% of adults overweight today in 2026, the liver slows down. And one of the perks of drinking the Aloe Life concentrate and adding liquid vitamin E together, they support all glands, including liver, thyroid, and pancreas too, for energy and a healthier weight, plus immunity in the bone marrow and new cells. It works. The Aloe Gold is motivation in a bottle for whole body health. Just check out the great articles, listeners, on the website. The top doc, MD, using aloe for healthier weight. I'm not the only one talking about aloe for healthier weight. And for more success, just add the gluten-free Fiber Mate with quality probiotics by Aloe Life and fiber that's not inflammatory, and aloe. 3-in-1 to detox colon debris and parasites out. That helps the skin and body for kids and adults to detox the inside and the out. And another favorite, real quick, I take daily is the Daily Greens, certified organic, 21 ingredients of vegetables and fruits. The powder or tablets, Daily Greens by ALOE LIFE, has a big following to cleanse waste and give super nutrition at the same time. TLC for the liver, body, and skin, whole body nutrition. And it costs less, friends, than buying certified organic. And it's tasty too. Daily Greens by ALOE LIFE. And if I can quickly share, according to the American Cancer Society, all skin cancers are up 12% from last year, warning young 40-year-olds and above for more prevention is needed. Avoiding skin damage from UV exposure, smoking, alcohol, and pollution that are driving up all the statistics of cancer. Number one, skin and lung, head and neck, and throat cancers too, with the most common type, melanoma skin cancer, increased from 2016 to 26, 10 years up 46%, Josh. Approximately 235,000 new cases expected this year. Yet being preventative with Skin Gel by ALOE LIFE, the research proves it lessens the UV damage, is a good step in the right direction. And I use it daily before and after sun. Skin Gel is really, truly my favorite best friend, and 2 ounces of the Aloe Gold concentrate for me because I've had several skin cancer surgeries, loving nature as I do and hiking a lot. And I got an all-free exam this last year. Yahoo! In fact, my neighbor had bleeding skin cancer on his face. True story. SOS. Until he applied my gift of the Skin Gel. He applied daily, and in just 3 weeks, friends, I was amazed, Josh. What a big improvement. Being a topical concentrate skin gel, it works fast with added chamomile extract and vitamins in the product. A, C, and E equals more beautiful skin. The factors increasing skin issues and disease both include the environment, toxicity. It's up in San Diego County and all over the world with toxicity, stress. Nobody has that. Addictions, unhealthy weight, poor diet, not enough protein, or veggies, and a lot of confusion, even in the health food stores about products, has kept people sick. Even in most stores, not enough staff and lacking key info as to how and why to use a product and how to trust each product. Every aloe is different, as you were saying. ALOE LIFE tests the top 20 aloe vera brands, Josh, for solids and immunity both. And ALOE LIFE wins the highest counts with number one ALOE LIFE Aloe Gold we use in all of our 6 concentrates. During production, we test the aloe 3 times. We don't guess, we test because we truly want the best results for customers. Our families all use it and friends too.
Karen, our guest is Karen Masterson Koch, the founder of ALOE LIFE. Karen, how do you test for over 100 actives from the aloe plant?
Well, yes, Josh. The science of herbs and foods has really become so scientific, measuring herbal chemical compounds and nutrition levels using the nuclear magnetic resonance NMR testing, a fingerprint of quality aloe of solids, and a special one, the acetyl mannose, one of the 5 medicinal sugars that wakes up immunity big time to engulf invaders inside and out, inside the body. It's so incredible. And on the skin, ALOE LIFE is the highest, and its nickname given to the immunity is Ace Mannin. That's really been rocking the health industry lately, Josh, with cancer numbers soaring. And my best advice is to use the aloe vera plant itself or aloe gold, which is the number one therapeutic aloe today for everything, including the tableted aloe gold by ALOE LIFE. Tests stronger in the Ace Mannin and the solids than any other competitor aloe. And that's why I love bragging a bit, because we use the entire leaf, including the yellow sap, friends, adding more value. And it's 100% safe to use even when taking most medications. Just call the 800 number if you have a question about that. And drinking ALOE Life, the energy picks up starting in 5 minutes. Athletes love taking ALOE Life, and bigger health improvements are observed in 45 days to 3 months, especially eating better with a few key supplements and more self-care, drinking water and exercise. In fact, a human study, which I love mentioning on these shows, is the bioavailability study, proved a quality aloe, like aloe gold, help people absorb their foods, get this, supplements and medications much better, up to 300% more vitamin E, my favorite, because it helps immunity in just 1 month. Vitamin C, essential, 200% more absorption into the cells, and B12 for nerves and mental health more efficiently into plasma of the cells. Aloe Gold is a delivery system while nourishing the body with micronutrients. I told you aloe is a food, which explains how supporting building, detox, and renewal, friends, for a new you. It's fun, truly winning with ALOE Life.
Our guest has been Karen Masterson Koch, the founder of ALOE Life, and I'd like to know that you can call Karen directly at 1-800-414-2563. That's 1-800-414-2563, or you could email orders@aloelife.com. And please remember to ask the special healthy handouts, including the Back to Basics skincare for the whole family. And the ALOE Life products are available nationwide in over 2,000 health food stores and outlets, including Fraser Farms, Clark's, Mother's, Natural Grocers, and Lassen's, and also at Amazon online, of course, and at VitaCost, at Swanson's, and at your friendly natural food store locally. So again, please give Karen a call at 1-800-414-2563. That's 1-800-414-2563. This is Josh Lane. You're listening to Here's to Your Health. Take a short break. We'll be right back after these important messages. Hi, it's Josh, host of Here's to Your Health. I'm happy to recommend ALOE Life for natural skin support, head to toe, scalp to feet. I use ALOE Life Skin Gel, and I know the ALOE Life Skin Gel's premium quality. The skin gel is concentrated. It works fast for itch relief and helps soothe skin with acne. The ALOE Life Skin Gel helped fade my teenage acne scars, and I'm happy with ALOE Life Skin Gel. It's the only aloe vera product with a deep golden yellow color from the mature whole leaf aloe vera. It contains over 100 actives. Only 100% certified organic leaves are used in the ALOE Life Skin Gel, and it's great for all skin issues. ALOE Life, 1-800-414-ALOE. That's 1-800-414-ALOE. ALOE Life for beautiful skin. ALOE Life Skin Gel. It worked for me. ALOE Life, the leader in aloe vera. Welcome to this edition of Here's to Your Health. I'm your host, Josh Lane. Happy to say my guest is CHERYL Hines. CHERYL Hines, the actor who has appeared for 20 seasons on Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David, and who was did a great job in the movie with Robin Williams, RV, which was just a delightful movie, and of course is married to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and so is in the national spotlight, taking abuse for ideas on wellness. And CHERYL has a brand new book out, which you may have read already, called Unscripted, published by Skyhorse Publishing, which I read, and which is a really delightful, nicely written book about making it in Hollywood, frankly, and the long struggle. CHERYL Hines, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Very, very, thank you very much for being on the show. I really do appreciate it. And now your book, Unscripted, covers many topics, personal topics, your mom and dad, growing up in Florida, going to school, early career. But as this is a wellness show, I would like to jump right in and ask you about the physician Alice Stewart, the British physician, an epidemiologist, and her work in the 1950s. I had never heard of her name, but your mentioning of what she accomplished in the 1950s, I think, is very important. That most people should hear this.
Right. Well, Alice Stewart, Dr. Alice Stewart, she was finding X-rays. Well, first she was finding a correlation between wealthy women who have babies that then get childhood cancer. So she was trying to understand what the correlation was, and she studied it for a long time and realized it was x-rays. The back, in the 50s, the women who could afford the best health care were having their abdomens x-rayed when they were pregnant because they wanted to see how the baby was coming along. And the doctors, suggested it and of course encouraged it because that was the top of the line healthcare at the time. And what she found out is the exposure that the fetus was having to x-rays was causing cancer.
Right.
And when she published this finding, it really made everyone angry.
Right.
They didn't want to believe it. They criticized her because mothers, parents, doctors were doing what they thought was the right, healthy thing for their unborn child.
Right.
And it took decades for Europe and for America to stop using the x-ray machine for pregnant women.
Right. Right.
So it was that story that inspired me to open my mind to possibilities, findings, new studies. Even when you think that you know what's best and you've heard and you've followed doctor's orders, you've done everything you can for your health, for your child's health, and to think, oh, there might be something that we're missing. There might be a new discovery that we should pay attention to. And it really changed my attitude about a lot of things.
Right. Yes. Our guest is CHERYL Hines. CHERYL Hines, the actor who you have enjoyed on Curb Your Enthusiasm for the 20 seasons it played over a 24-year period. Larry David took 4 years off because he wanted to rest. But everyone loved that series. Frankly, Richard Lewis was great. They were all great on it.
Yeah.
But so Alice Stewart, the reason I asked you to mention that is because I did not know that, and I do try to keep up on wellness ideas, but it is analogous with today because I noticed that when Robert F. Kennedy and the team at Children's Health Defense talks about vaccination, they make fun of them as though they're anti-science, but they never say, well, is aluminum a problem? Is mercury a problem? Is polysorbate 80 a problem in the vaccines? Is formaldehyde a problem? They will simply not discuss the ideas, but they do like to attack the person who is bringing this subject up. And so the Alice Stewart discovery and troubles that she had seem very analogous to today, that really we have to keep an eye on the MDs and the pharmaceutical guys because they can make a big dollar doing what they do, and they don't want any opposition. I'm not trying to be mean-spirited, but really, sometimes it just seems to be just money.
I know, and it is really hard to believe. It's hard to get your mind around that.
Right.
And you're right. It is, people should keep their minds open to the possibility that something that we thought was great for your health, for your children's health, after years of seeing what it has caused, other problems that it might have caused, it's sometimes good to take a step back and look at it from a different perspective.
Right.
And it's people are very emotional about it, because a parent doesn't want to ever think that they would have done anything that would have hurt their child. That goes against everything that you, all of your goals as a parent is to keep your child happy and healthy.
Right.
So it's hard. It's a hard, idea to comprehend. And some people just have an emotional reaction to it and want to shut it down. And I agree with you. I think there is an analogy with what's going on now.
Right, right. Our guest is CHERYL Hines. CHERYL Hines, the author of a brand new book called Unscripted, published by Skyhorse Publishing, which is really just a delightful, fun read that really gives you background on what it's like to be in high school and interested in theater and going to school and studying and struggling for many years and making it in Hollywood. But the book is very nicely written, and I really enjoyed reading of the book. And of course, the ideas now on wellness, which are under such discussion, although more and more people are now listening. CHERYL, when you were a younger girl, when did you first become involved with like really taking care of yourself, thinking, no, I want to eat this and I want to do these exercises? When did that become important to you?
It became important to me early. And this may, it sounds like what it's going to sound like, but because I'm an actress, one of the things that we learn early on in training for acting, being an actor, is your body is your instrument. So you start to really pay attention to your body and how it feels, how it looks, is it healthy? And because I guess, just the nature of it, you're on camera. The camera doesn't lie. If you are, eating junk food every day and you go to an audition and the person that's eating healthy and clean and exercising is next to you, it's you're probably not going to get the part if I'm being, candid. But so not only that, but I've always been was an aerobics instructor. I've always been very physical and active and working out, and the two go together. It's if you work out all the time and you're eating ultra processed food, it's not a good match.
Right.
So I started early, but at the time I never thought, oh, I'm MAHA. There was no such thing as MAHA, but I've always been moving in those circles.
Right. And so you simply continue to learn additional information.
That's right. And then when I became a mother, that's even more heightened, right? Because now you're responsible for yourself and for other little human beings. So you have complete control over what they are putting in their bodies and how they're moving through the day. So it just naturally became part of my life and my kids' lives.
Right. Our guest is CHERYL Hines. CHERYL Hines, author of a new her book, Unscripted, published by Skyhorse Publishing, which is really a delightful read. CHERYL, in your book, you mentioned your dad played high school football, and he was considered a star of the high school football team. Was your father, after high school, did your father continue to be involved with physical fitness?
No, I wouldn't say he was I never saw him go to the gym, but also I don't know that that's what people were doing back then.
Right.
But he was in construction. So he was always very physical. He was always out there working.
And so you had that kind of, so in other words, physical fitness is something that the family taught.
Yes, absolutely. Get outside, go play, kickball in the backyard. I go play softball, even if you're not good at it.
Right.
So yes, it was very much encouraged, sports and physical activity, and really going outside and enjoying each other. Do something physical. Go play, tennis or racquetball. Played a lot of racquetball. That was fun.
Right. Our guest is CHERYL Hines, author of a brand new book called Unscripted. CHERYL, can I describe that is that an autobiography? Is that the best way to describe your book?
I think It's described as a memoir.
A memoir, okay.
What's the difference? I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not really sure. Okay. Now, as you have some interest in fitness always, and your dad did. What about your mom? What did your mom do?
My mom was always very, um, she was very healthy. She worked a lot. She had 4 kids. She worked and then came home and made dinner for everybody. And she would always tell me that the dinner plate should be colorful. So we always had at least 2 different vegetables and some sort of protein. And uh, and when she wasn't, working and taking care of the kids, she was outside or she was dancing or we lived by a lake, we were swimming. So it was, and it was Florida. We would go to the beach all the time and swim in the ocean. So it was always just a very active household.
Right. Well, see, you're lucky to have that because this way,
Yeah.
nutrition and wellness and all the new ideas you learn, yoga or Pilates or all the new things you're doing, you realize, oh, it's just a continuation of wellness ideas. That's all it really
That's
is.
right. That's right. And I see it in my kids. They learn from example. So if you feel like if you're showing them that this is what's normal and good is to have a well-balanced meal that you make if you have time, which is, always the hard part, but you need all the vegetables and the fruits and you need all of these um, different components to make a healthy dinner. But if they grow up with that, now that they're young adults, that's what they do.
Right.
That's normal, and that's how you make dinner. That's how you make lunch. And they see you going out and playing pickleball or going out and going on hikes, and that's what they did when they were growing up, and they're continuing to do that as young adults.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah, the kids just watch you and whatever you're doing, they want to do. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a little trick that I guess very young parents don't realize that their children are watching you every second and they want to do what mom's doing. Right.
Yes. The little mother duck and the little ducklings following along right behind.
Right. Right. That's completely true. I don't think you know that when you're very young, but when you get older, you do realize that. Now, what
Right.
about the idea of raw milk, which I think is just a very good tasting beverage and which I enjoy and think is good for me. And I noticed that there seems to be a lot of people who just think that drinking raw milk is the worst thing you could possibly do, that it's just really incredible negligence on your part. May I ask what you and Robert F. Kennedy are doing with raw milk, and if you enjoy raw milk, if your children enjoy raw milk, if you think, what do you think about raw milk?
Well, that's the most natural way milk comes. So I find it interesting that people would criticize it. This is the most natural milk there is. So, personally, I'm not a big milk drinker,
Right.
but yes, I think if you're going to drink milk and you have access to it, not a lot of people have access to it. And
Right.
a lot of times that's why milk comes processed the way it comes processed, because it needs to be, it needs to have a shelf life.
Right, right. Yeah, the thing about raw milk, which I've actually been drinking raw milk since the 70s. I remember here in California, Altadena had a raw milk. They're out of business now, but they had a raw milk cottage cheese that was just fantastic. And I always thought raw milk was such a good beverage, and I couldn't understand the opposition to it until I got older and did some reading on the economics of it. So when the milk is pasteurized, they don't pasteurize milk to kill tuberculous bacilli. They don't heat it high enough to kill tuberculous bacilli. They pasteurize milk to give it shelf life. And let's say, you are a farmer and there are 100 other farmers. They buy your milk at a bulk rate. And let's say you do a great job with your milk, but they blend it with 99 other producers of milk, and they pay you very little money, and the producer in the middle makes all the money, and the farmers make very little money. But with raw milk, it's a single source. We know exactly who the farmer is. They make most of the money. The middlemen don't. The consumers are very happy. It has more food value. It's easier to digest. And also, I think very important, is it just tastes better. It just tastes better, I think. And so I'm always surprised that it took so many years for raw milk to become widely used. I mean, it took like more than 50 years. I was just, as a teenage boy, you have no idea on timing. You just think, oh, this will happen. This is the modern world. But no, it takes 50 years. It takes 50 years, and you can only know that as a much older person. You just can't possibly know that when you're 20. So I just love raw milk. And does your hubby drink raw milk on a regular basis? Does he like it?
Well, yes, he does. I would say he doesn't drink a lot of milk in general,
Right.
but he definitely eats a lot of yogurt.
Oh, he does, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yes, to everything you just said, yes.
And do some of his, so you're a blended family, his children, your children, all the relatives. So do some of his children, and I guess they're adult children now, are they drinking raw milk? Are they eating pretty carefully? Do they listen to their dad at least a little bit?
They all do. They all eat very carefully. They pay attention to what they're putting in their bodies. And once again, the mother duckling, I always tease Bobby because he's a father duckling. He does whatever he does, his children are in line behind him. And I'm not saying across the board,
Right.
they think what he thinks about everything. I'm saying about health, definitely. He has a huge influence on the kids.
Listen, CHERYL Hines, thank you for being on the show. Our guest has been CHERYL Hines, author of a brand new book called UNSCRIPTED, a memoir from Skyers Publishing, a very good publishing house. And the book is really worth reading. It's a delightful read. This is
Thank
Josh.
you so much.
Thank you, CHERYL. This is
Thank
Josh.
you.
Thank you. This is Josh Lane listening to Here's to Your Health. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Friends, say goodbye to rough, dry, and troubled skin. Even acne scars fade with ALOE LIFE Skin Gel by ALOE LIFE, not over-processed. So look for the dark yellow color, like the ancients wrote about, that gets to work fast in 5 minutes to 45 days. Skin Gel for more beautiful skin by ALOE LIFE. Call 800-414-ALOE. That's 800-414-ALOE. An A+ Better Business Bureau company. Skin Gel available at Whole Foods, Clark's, Natural Grocers, other quality stores, plus ALOELife.com. 800-414-ALOE. That's 800-414-ALOE. ALOE Life, aloe vera. For you, 800-414-ALOE. Do something good for yourself. Zoom into the new year. Leaders in health products since 1991. ALOE Life, for a healthier life.
Welcome to this edition of Here's to Your Health. I'm your host, Josh Lane. Today we have a really important discussion. We have an author, Peter GOTZSCHE, who's calling from Denmark. And Peter wrote a book called How Merck and Drug Regulators Hid Serious Harms of the HPV Vaccines, published by Skyhorse Publishers. Skyhorse is an important publishing house. And I'll just read about the book. It's a story of scientific misconduct committed by Merck, the fourth biggest drug company in the world. Merck has committed scientific misconduct before, and this book describes the fraud related to Merck's arthritis drug VIOXX, which killed tens of thousands of patients because Merck concealed that it causes heart attacks. And in his role as an expert witness in a lawsuit against Merck, Dr. Peter C. GOTZSCHE, our guest today, read 112,000 pages of confidential study reports about Merck's HPV vaccine Gardasil, corresponding to 500 medium-sized books, and wrote an expert report of 350 pages with 4 appendices. Dr. GOTZSCHE reveals that Merck used numerous tactics to avoid reporting serious neurological harms of Gardasil. Now, those are strong statements, and the book is How Merck and Drug Regulators Hid Serious Harms of the HPV Vaccines. Peter C. GOTZSCHE, calling in from Denmark. Sir, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Now, with that brief intro, and now VIOXX really, was an important drug in the United States for a long time, and according to the documentation you've presented and what is widely known, that it really caused harm and death to tens of thousands of people. Now, the HPV vaccine also still being used, I believe, and it's still very controversial. And I guess really you are the foremost expert scientist on the subject.
Well, at least I can say with confidence that I don't think anybody else in the whole world has read these 112,000 pages but me. And of course, I didn't read every single page because some pages were just laboratory values. But it gave me a very deep insight into the many ways Merck had cheated with their data.
Obviously, this is a very serious topic. It affects the lives of people around the world. Now, so please tell the listeners about the HPV vaccine. When was it introduced? What did you discover? What are the problems associated with its use? And also, why has it been allowed to be used here in the United States?
Well, that were pretty many questions.
Yes, it is.
But these vaccines came on the market, I think, around 2008. There was controversy about them quite early on. And one of the controversies is about the effect. Because if you go to screening regularly and get a pap smear or an HPV test, then you can virtually, with 100% likelihood, avoid dying from cervical cancer because it develops so slowly that if you go to screening regularly, you can pick up the cell changes and you can treat them by surgery before they ever become cancer. And the irony is that this vaccine has been sold to the whole world as life-saving, which I cannot see it is, because if everybody goes to screening, I cannot really see where you can save any more lives than that. And the irony is that since the vaccine is not 100% effective, it is effective against around 70% of these HPV strains that can cause cancer. So other strains can cause cancer, and therefore it is recommended to still go to screening, even though you have become vaccinated. So where is the big clue in all this? I have always had difficulty seeing this. And also there are some antibody studies that show that the protection against the HPV viruses, the antibody levels actually decline surprisingly rapidly. And therefore we don't know how long does this protection last. Is it rather short-lived or what is it? And we don't have any convincing data that the vaccines prevent cervical cancer or that they prevent deaths. The only thing we have are data from randomized trials where they lower the amount of cell changes, but many of these cell changes would disappear by themselves without any surgical treatment. So this is just a short introduction that on the benefit side, there is also controversy, and then we have not even touched the harms yet.
Yes. Our guest, Dr. Peter C. GOTZSCHE, who is the author of a new book from Skyhorse Press called How Merck and Drug Regulators Hid Serious Harms of the HPV Vaccines. Sir, by the way, sir, as we do the interview, what is your background? What is your academic background? What do you get your undergraduate and graduate degrees, and where are you teaching?
Well, I actually have 3 educations. I first got a full education in Sweden in biology and chemistry, and then I got a full education in Copenhagen in the same 2 subjects. And then I worked in the drug industry for some years and decided to become a doctor. And I qualified as a specialist in internal medicine and later became professor of clinical research design and analysis because I'm able to look at a scientific paper and tell rather quickly whether it's reliable or not. That's kind of my expertise.
Yes, sir. So with that excellent expertise, are you seen now by colleagues as an outlier? So what do men that you've worked with for 50 years in your profession, What did they say to you now about these kind of studies that you present when everyone else is so quiet?
Well, a lot of my colleagues have financial conflicts of interest. They are paid by the drug companies, so you can't expect them to be thrilled when I again and again tell them that the emperor has no clothes.
Right.
Because that's what I have often found. And my reputation, I'm retired now. I'm 75, but I'm still working. My international reputation, I can say is high. I'm the only Dane who ever published over 100 papers in the 5 most prestigious medical journals. So I'm able to produce science at a high level. And when people don't like my results, they have not really had counter arguments. They could not find faults with my results, for example. And then they resorted to ad hominem arguments like, how can I publish in psychiatry when I'm not a psychiatrist? Well, I have learned to read, so I can publish in all subjects.
Right. Our guest is the author of How Merck and Drug Regulators Hid Serious Harms of the HPV Vaccines, calling in from Denmark. Now, what do we need to know in America now about the HPV vaccines? How are they offered to us? Should we not be taking them? And what is being done to get this information out?
America is an extreme case. Nowhere in the world do people get vaccinated against so many different microorganisms as in America. The childhood vaccination program is much bigger than in Denmark and other European countries, for example. And your attitude to the HPV vaccines is pretty uncritical. But I must say it's also pretty uncritical in the rest of the world. So you are not alone on this particular issue. But we have not even discussed the harms yet. What we have discussed is that the benefits are not that impressive. And if you go to the harms, it's clear that some people get seriously harmed by the HPV vaccines. And what we are talking about here are, for example, serious neurological harms, and they likely have an autoimmune background, which has been shown in Denmark that those girls who got serious symptoms, they had to a much higher extent than other people antibodies against the autoimmune system, the autoimmune nervous system. And what does that mean? That means, for example, that these young girls, they have a tendency to faint. If you rise quickly, you can be dizzy. This is a symptom that is called POTS. And before these vaccines came on the market, the Danish syncope unit did not see these young people, at least only rarely. But then suddenly, after the vaccines came on the market, they saw these young girls who had these symptoms. And when I first heard about it from one of the researchers, it was predominantly elite sports girls. And I know that if you are an elite sports person, your immune system is not functioning equally well as if you don't do sports to the extreme. So it made a lot of sense to me that a reaction like this could be seen predominantly in young elite sports women. And all over the world, people try to say that, oh no, it's only in these girls' heads, it's psychological, it's psychiatric, which was very offensive in my view.
Right.
They really just wanted to come back to their sports, which they loved. They didn't invent something that didn't exist. And now we know that these symptoms are real. And we know that Merck has hidden a lot of the reports of serious neurological harms, even for the FDA, for the US Food and Drug Administration, and also for the European Medicines Agency. That has been documented.
Wow. The book is How Merck and Drug Regulators Hid Serious Harms of the HPV Vaccines. Peter GOTZSCHE, who is the author, who has, is an MD, many degrees, calling in today from Denmark. Sir, so if the benefits don't seem to really be there, and how surgery could be very helpful, and how the medication only works really theoretically in 70% of the time, if you don't mind, what is going on in the United States so that this Gardasil vaccine is pushed so strongly? If you don't mind, I'd really like to talk about, I guess, the political push on the part of the drug companies.
Am I not correct when I say that it became part of the childhood vaccination program?
I think it has.
In the US?
I think so. Yes, sir.
And let me give you this comment. You don't spread HPV in the classroom, do you?
No.
It's a sexually transmitted disease. So, I mean, why did people go out of their mind in the United States? I just don't get it. And we must get away from the idea that the vaccine area is taboo. And many people tend to say that all vaccines are good for us and we should take everything on offer. And this is not true. Vaccines will always cause harm in some people. So what we need to consider is, do a particular vaccine cause more benefit than harm? And most vaccines cause far more benefits than harms. So that's fine. But this is not really the case with the HPV vaccines. There, the balance between benefits and harms is really delicate for the reasons I have already told you. And when the risk of somebody getting cervical cancer and dying from it is very, very low and practically non-existent if you go to screening regularly, then the harms side start to have much more weight. And it's not only neurological harms, there are actually people who have died as a direct result of the HPV vaccination. So my wife is also a doctor. She's a professor in clinical microbiology. So we know a good deal about microorganisms in my family. So when our oldest daughter was asked if she was willing to get an HPV vaccine when she was 12 years old, we were already back then in doubt. And we decided to vaccinate our two daughters, but I'm not so sure I would recommend that today after I have read Merck's secret reports.
Okay, this is Josh Lane. You're listening to Here's to Your Health. And we're chatting with Dr. GOTZSCHE, Dr. Peter GOTZSCHE, calling in from Denmark. His brand new book is How Merck and Drug Regulators Hid Serious Harms of the HPV Vaccines, and it's from Skyhorse Publishers out of New York. They've got some great books, quite frankly. And let me just mention this. Dr. GOTZSCHE is a professor emeritus, a physician, and a best-selling author, and his scientific works have been cited over 190,000 times. And he is the only Dane who has published over 100 papers in the big five journals: the British Medical Journal, the Lancet, Journal of the American Medical Association, the Annals of Internal Medicine, and the New England Journal of Medicine. Currently, he is a researcher, lecturer, and author, an independent consultant, expert witness in lawsuits, and produces films and interviews in collaboration with award-winning Danish filmmakers. And again, from Skyhorse Publishing, a really important book. And the book is, please go out and read this book, buy this book, get your local library to pick it up, How Merck and Drug Regulators Hid Serious Harms of the HPV Vaccines. This is Josh Lane. You're listening to Here's to Your Health. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
The latest from the greatest, the best in new music by classic rockers, with your host, the insane Daryl Wayne.
This is Alice Cooper, and if Daryl Wayne is insane, what does that make me? Criminally insane. Stick around to find out.
Many of the artist interviews for the latest from the greatest have been captured on audio book. There is a Volume 1 and Volume 2. Great information and conversations with people in the industry and people surrounded by the industry, and of course the rock stars themselves.
I'm the Reverend Al Green, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne. And I said Wayne Insane.
You can find it on Amazon or Blackstone Audio. Search for the latest from the greatest from Daryl Wayne, Darrell Wayne.
Hello, this is Weird Al Yankovic, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne, aren't you?
Thank you for listening to the show. If you have suggestions for guests or topics you would like to hear, please email me at joshlane.wellness@gmail.com. That's joshlane.wellness@gmail.com. JOSHLANE wellness@gmail.com. On behalf of the cast and crew, I would like to wish you a healthy and safe good evening.